and welcome to the Roy Rogers Riders Club.
Thrill again to the thundering hooves and cattle stampedes, barroom brawls, and shootouts of classic Western features and TV shows. Annie Oakley, Roy Rogers, Gene Autry, John Wayne, and all their cowboy pals and sidekicks roam the West once more. Heroes never die on Comedy MX channels. They just ride off into the sunset.
Bullseye! Annie Oakley hits the entertainment bullseye every week with her hard riding. Straight shooting. And suspense.
Sometimes the sheriff's niece has to follow the trail of killers. They're dangerous men, and a girl has to be prepared for anything, but there's some varmints that are harder to track, and even a bigger problem, such as my brother Tagg. Well?
Hi, Annie.
Don't hiya Annie me, young man. I've been chasing you for the past 2 miles. Now hand over that report card.
Aw, Sis.
Come on, Tagg, hand it over. Where's Pixie?
Back there, in the bushes.
Well, you better get him. Uncle Luke's gonna have something to say about this.
Pretty bad, isn't it, Sis? The report card, I mean.
Yes, Tagg, it was. The worst part of it was you're trying to hide it.
I thought if nobody saw it, everything'd be okay.
Oh, Tagg, that's bad thinking. 2 wrongs don't make a right. They never have, and they never will.
I reckon I didn't think of it that way.
I reckon you didn't. You know, I remember someone else who didn't think of it that way one time. And they just about started a full-scale war in Diablo.
Gee, when was that?
Oh, about 2 summers ago, Tagg. The year you and Uncle Luke were away on a hunting trip. I had ridden out of town to look for Lofty, who was supposed to be at the office attending to business. But I had a pretty good idea where he'd be. And when I reached Canyon Lake, I found I'd guessed right. Lofty was having such a good time while I did all the work that I decided I'd teach him a lesson.
Annie.
Leave all the work for me, will you?
Oh, Annie, have a heart, will you? Look, I'm sorry. Gonna get my clothes on?
Okay, Lofty. Well, that certainly took you long enough. I thought it was supposed to be women that were the slow ones.
But you'd have trouble dressing, too, if somebody'd been taking pot shots at you.
Sounds like somebody else is in trouble.
It sure does.
Look.
You're not hurt, Mr. Kenyon.
No, don't bother about me. Howard's been shot. He's back there on the road.
Howard Bishop?
Yes. We've got to get back there right away.
Take it easy, Howard. Mr. Kenyon will be here with a carriage in a minute, and we'll get you to a doctor.
It's too late for a doctor. Annie, I want you to do something for me.
Yes, Howard.
My daughter, Priscilla, she's in college in the East. Send for her.
Daughter? But where? How do I get in touch with her?
The information is in my will. I left her everything.
Oh, please, Howard, save your strength.
Take care of her, Annie. She'll need your help. She...
Can't believe it.
What happened, Mr. Kenyon?
Well, we were on our way into town to a stockholders meeting. A shot came from up there. Howard was hit and started to fall. I made a grab for him and lost the lines. And the team bolted and I lost control. Don't worry, Annie. I'll make all the arrangements about the funeral. You know, it's only thanks to you that someone isn't arranging for mine. They'll probably be sorry to hear about that.
They?
The lowland farmers.
You think they're responsible for Howard's death?
Well, I know they are. Jesse Clemens and his farmer friends threatened to use force to stop our hydraulic plans at the Yellow Rock mine.
I hope you're wrong, Mr. Kenyon. I know the farmers are worried about their land being flooded, but I can't believe Jesse's a killer.
Howard's dead, Annie. Somebody killed him or had him killed.
You mean just because he has controlling stock in the mine?
Exactly. Howard's death stops a vote on the hydraulic issue until we can settle his estate and distribute his mine stock.
Well, then he didn't tell you about his daughter either.
Daughter? What do you mean?
Well, before Howard died, he told me about a girl back east.
I never knew that Howard had married. I assumed he had no heirs.
And the people in the town don't know either. Whoever killed Howard sure in for a surprise, because the decision about using water at the mine is in Priscilla Bishop's hands now. I sent the telegram tag, and 3 weeks later, quite a crowd was gathered to greet Priscilla Bishop. Everyone was guessing what she'd be like. But to look at Lofty that day, a person would have thought Jenny Lind herself was coming in on the stage. Why, Lofty, I really declare. In that getup, you look almost like a gentleman.
All right, go ahead and kid. But it isn't every day a young gal comes to Diablo. You know, come to think of it, after the stage comes in, you just might not rule the beauty roost around here anymore. Priscilla's a mighty pretty name.
Here she comes!
Whoa!
Well, you don't mean to say that all you folks came to welcome plain little me. I'm so thrilled.
Miss Bishop, I'm Annie Oakley. Welcome to Diablo.
Well, thank you, honey. The pleasure's all mine. But, oh, what's that you call me?
Miss Bishop, you are Priscilla Bishop, aren't you? The new owner of the Yellow Rock mine?
Boy, are you confused, dearie. My name's Swartz. I came to work at the saloon. But, of course, if you have a mine lying around with no owner...
I'm Priscilla Bishop, Miss Oakley.
Gloria B., an Indian.
Wow! I've been mistaken for a lot of things, but never an Indian.
I'm sorry, Miss Bishop.
I know. You weren't expecting an Indian. I'm Howard Bishop's adopted daughter.
We just weren't expecting anybody so pretty, miss.
This is Lofty Craig.
My pleasure, Miss Bishop.
Priscilla, please.
And Russell Kenyon.
How do you do?
Oh, Mr. Kenyon. Howard mentioned you in his letters. You're a large stockholder in the mine, aren't you?
The largest next to you, Priscilla. I've been looking forward to your arrival.
Thank you. You're very kind.
Get Priscilla's bags, Lofty, and I'll drive her out to her new ranch.
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure, Annie.
You better leave those bags right where they are, Deputy.
What are you talking about, Frank? Why, you work at the mine? This Bishop's your new boss.
That's just it, Mr. Kenyon. The way I figured, a lot of boys ain't gonna like it working for a redskin.
Why, you...
Now listen, Frank, and the rest of you. If there's anybody that doesn't like it, they can start looking for a new job.
A redskin's got no business being a boss over a white man.
One more word, mister, and you won't worry about mining gold. You'll be digging for your teeth.
You think so?
This gentleman coat didn't fit none too well anyway, Annie.
I'm sorry if I've caused trouble.
Oh, that's no trouble, miss. It's a real pleasure to stop talk like that.
Come on, Priscilla. I'll take you on out to your ranch.
Lofty, tie Target to the back of the carriage, will you?
Sure, Annie.
I'm sorry about the little mix-up, Priscilla. Those miners are a hot-headed lot. Sometimes they take a little time to get used to things. But you'll find out. They're on your side.
I hope so.
Wouldn't have to be no sides, Kenyon, if you people would give up that fool idea for getting your gold out faster than normal.
You got your nerve, Clemens. Keep your comments to yourself.
Please, Jesse. There've been enough differences for one day. Miss Bishop needs a rest. She's traveled a long way.
I reckon she does need a rest, Annie. She's got a big decision to make for such a little girl.
She won't be intimidated by you or your lowland farmer friends. Priscilla owns the controlling stock in the Yellow Rock mine now. You can bet she'll make the right decision.
I hope she does, Kenyon. I hope she does.
What's he talking about, Mr. Kenyon? What is this big decision I have to make?
It's nothing to be disturbed about, Priscilla. It's simply a matter of business. Howard made the decision before he was killed. I'm sure you'll want to carry out his plans.
Then you think that man, Jesse Clemens, killed Howard?
That's Russell Kenyon's idea. I don't think Jesse'd kill anyone.
It does seem to make sense. If the farmers are so frightened of being flooded out.
Well, what are facts and what makes sense aren't always true, Priscilla. The truth is sometimes hard to find. You know, no one in town even knew that Howard had a daughter.
Keeping it a secret was my idea, not his. My parents were killed when I was 3 by white renegades. He took me in, adopted me, raised me as a daughter. When he settled here in Diablo, he sent me east to school.
You mean you haven't seen him in all these years?
Oh, yes. He'd come east to visit when he could.
Well, I guess I'd better get back to town and let you get acquainted with your new home.
Well, I'll be in the mining office tomorrow. I'll probably see you then.
All right, Priscilla.
Oh, Annie, is that you? Come on in.
What do you want?
Just a word, miss. My name's Jesse Clemens.
Yes, I know.
What I'm going to say won't take much talking, but I want you to listen good to every word.
Are you trying to threaten me?
No, miss, I sure ain't. I just want to tell you some plain facts about what'll happen if you go ahead with hydraulic mining.
I've been told about that. The drainage water will inundate the lowland farms. Is that what you mean?
Them's fancy words, miss. But you sure heard right. It'll flood every one of us farmers out, and we don't aim to let that happen.
Even if it means another killing? And this time just an Indian?
Look, miss, I ain't one to be worrying over skin color, but I'll fight any force, white or red, that threatens to destroy my land.
Have you finished?
No, there's just one more thing you ought to get straight.
Yes.
I didn't kill Howard Bishop. Good day to you, miss.
It's very simple. Either we use water methods or we let the men go and close the mine down entirely. We just can't get enough tonnage out by hand anymore.
I realize that.
Well, it seems to me that you'd want to respect Howard's wishes. After all, he was doing it for your people.
My people?
Oh, yes, yes. Howard intended to devote all the profits from the Yellow Rock mine to the Indian tribes in this area. Provide food, shelter, opportunity. All the things that the white men took away in the wars. You know how strongly Howard felt on this matter. Seems apparent after all he did for you.
The farmers, Mr. Kenyon. Their lands and their homes.
Anyone think of the Indians' lands or their homes?
No, I'm afraid not.
It's your chance to make up for it by helping them just as Howard planned.
Please, Mr. Kenyon, let me have a few more days to think it out.
Certainly. But remember, Priscilla, you can't run a business on sentiment. Someone is bound to suffer. However, you will let me know your decision as soon as possible.
Of course.
Well, did it work, Kenyon?
Yeah, she says she'll have to have a few more days to think it over.
Priscilla! Where you heading? To try and think things out, Annie. I'm afraid college didn't prepare me for making a decision that has to hurt someone. The farmers on one side and the miners on the other. I just don't know what to do.
I'm sure you'll make the right decision, Priscilla. Just give yourself plenty of time.
I'm going to.
I'd sure hate to be in her shoes.
So would I. No matter what she decides, there's going to be trouble.
Gosh, Priscilla was really in the middle, wasn't she, Annie?
She sure was, Tagg. And she spent a lot of days trying to make up her mind. Naturally, she wanted to carry out Howard's plans about helping the Indians. And everything that Russell Kenyon had told her kept going over and over in her mind. Finally, she decided he was right. Someone had to be hurt. And this time, it wasn't going to be her people. And you've made up your mind. You're going ahead with the hydraulic plans.
Yes, Annie, I am. I know there's going to be trouble, but I'm afraid that's the way it'll be.
Priscilla, will you come with me for a few hours? There are a lot of things I'd like to show you that might make a difference.
All right, Annie. Just for you, and I'm not going to change my mind.
Oh, maybe you won't, but at least give me a chance. I showed Priscilla acres and acres of farmland stretched out over the valley. And looking down, she could see the vast areas. We rode through the land that the farmers had spent their lives cultivating. And talked with the men who had transformed a once barren desert into productive soil. The women, too, told us their feelings and how dreams for themselves and their children became reality with the growth of the valley. By the time we got back to the Bishop Ranch, Priscilla had changed a lot of her ideas about the lowland farmers. But it wasn't until then that I found out the one thing that still kept her from changing her mind. She told me what Kenyon had said about Indian conditions and what Howard Bishop planned to do with the mine's profits. Then you're doing this because you think it'll help your own people.
Yes. I have a chance to help the Indians. No one else is doing it.
That's where you're wrong, Priscilla. The U.S. government realizes what a great injustice has been done, and they're doing everything that they can to help them. With money, land, medical care, and food, they're doing much more than you could ever hope to do.
But Mr. Kenyon said
He
that
told you wrong. Everything that I've said can be proved. You can check with the Indian agents or even the tribes themselves.
I don't know, Annie. Why should
He lied. Why, I don't know, but well, I intend to find out. Think it over, Priscilla. And remember, 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Priscilla? Morning, Annie.
You're in town early.
Too early, I guess. Mr. Kenyon isn't in the office yet.
Oh, here, sit down.
Thank you. I came to tell him my decision. You were right, Annie. I realize that now. 2 wrongs don't make a right. I've decided not to use hydraulics, even if it means closing down Yellow Rock.
You'll gain a lot of friends by your decision, Priscilla.
Mr. Kenyon will be upset, though, but as he said, someone has to be hurt. It'll be a lot easier for the miners to find new jobs than for the farmers to clear new land and build new homes.
Mail came in, Annie. Oh, hi, Priscilla.
Hello.
Hey, there's a letter here for you. I was going to run it out to the ranch.
What is it, Priscilla?
It's a letter from Howard that must have reached school after I left. They sent it back here. It was mailed the day before he was killed. Dear Priscilla, hope you're well. We're very busy here. The survey proved... I don't understand this.
What's wrong, Priscilla?
Here, Annie, read it.
The survey proved conclusively that hydraulic mining would flood the lowlands. So I've decided against it. The mine can continue to operate, though the profit would be much lower. I expect some opposition at the stockholders' meeting tomorrow, especially from Russell Kenyon, whom I've already told of my decision.
Kenyon was lying about everything.
Money is a motivation for murder for some people, Priscilla. And Howard was the only person standing in his way.
You mean Kenyon killed my father?
Had him killed, yes.
I'll bring him in, Annie.
No, wait a minute, Lofty. This letter proves him a liar, but it doesn't prove him a killer.
Proves it to me.
I know, but you're not the jury. No, we've got to find a way to get more proof. I think I know a way that we can make Kenyon show his hand. But we'll need your help, Priscilla, and it'll be dangerous.
I'll do anything, Annie.
Lofty, see if Kenyon's in his office yet.
No, still closed up.
Good. Sit down, Priscilla, and write what I tell you. Mr. Russell Kenyon, have reached my decision. We'll meet you at the ranch. Signed, Priscilla Bishop.
She's
She's there like the note says, Kenyon. You sure you're going to need me again this time?
Only if she doesn't decide our way. If she does, you won't get this signal.
I still think it's a wrong move pulling the same stunt you did to get Howard Bishop.
You're paid to shoot, not to think.
All right. You're the one that's got to talk your way out of it, not me.
Come in, Mr. Kenyon.
Thanks, Priscilla. I'm sorry I'm a little late. I had a little business to attend to in town. Your note said that you'd reached a decision.
Yes, that's right.
And?
And I've decided not to use hydraulics.
And you're going to let your people down in spite of Howard's wishes.
I'm afraid that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah, so be it. Tell me, have you notified anyone else of your decision?
No, no one. Why do you ask?
Well, it's only that I think that we ought to let the other stockholders know first.
Well, that's only fair.
Then we'll ride into town if you care to.
Might as well get it over with.
Yes, we might as well. Oh, I'll ride with you if you don't mind. I can pick up my horse when we get back.
All right.
There goes our hired killer, Annie. Right according to plan.
Right in Ambush Canyon, too. All set up by Russell Kenyon. You got the reins this time, Kenyon. No sense taking a chance on another runaway, was there?
What do you mean? Well, what was all the shooting about, Annie?
That was just your plan going wrong. We've got your hired killer.
Hired killer? I don't know what you're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. Take a look.
Well, I've never seen that man before in my life.
Save your breath, Kenyon. Your boy here talked. Said you hired him to kill Howard Bishop. You're all through.
You can't prove it.
I think you better get on the ground, Kenyon. You're less trouble down there.
Actually, he didn't say a word, Kenyon. He's too full of water. Your plan worked real fine, Annie.
Thanks to Priscilla.
I'll have to admit I was a little nervous.
Let's get back, Lofty, and tell the people the mine's going to operate as usual. Without the water that'll ruin the lowland farm.
Yeah. I think some of the folks are going to want to come around and apologize to their new neighbor. Keep them covered, Annie. I'll get the horses.
Gosh, Annie, that was quite a story. Now I see what you mean about two wrongs not making a right.
That's why I told it to you, Tagg. But I've still got to show your report card to Uncle Luke.
Hey, Tagg, did you see what I did with that card?
Sure, you put it in your pocket.
Yeah, but it's gone.
Yeah, it fell out way back in the road. I was so interested in your story, I plumb forgot to tell you about it.
Forgot? Why, you little Kyle.
hits the entertainment bullseye every week with her hard riding. Straight shooting. And suspense.
Driver, what's the matter, mister? Let me off with that turn down there. That's 3 miles out of town. I know. Nobody lives around here, mister. You sure you got the right place?
I'm sure this is the place.
I know it's none of my business, but...
That's right, it's none of your business, Charlie.
Hey, how come you know my name?
You don't recognize me, do you?
No, can't say as I do.
9 years in prison can change a man in more ways than one.
9 years in... Well, you're Dobie Larson.
That's right. I've come back to pay off a few old debts. We'll see you, Charlie.
Get it, baby.
All right, stay right where you are.
Hey, what's the big idea?
What are you snooping around here for?
Well, I wasn't snooping. I was picking berries and saw you in here and wonder what you're doing. All I did is got sort of curious.
I call that snooping. Now, come on in here. What's the matter, you deaf or something? Hurry up. Come on back here.
Sure a lucky thing I came after you.
Crazy female, you could have killed me shooting like that.
Well, if I ever do kill anyone, it'll be a man that's beating up a kid.
I didn't do anything to him.
He pulled a gun on me.
Pulled a gun on you?
I'll do it to anybody else that trespasses on my property.
Your property? Are you Dobie Larson?
That's right. Now you take this kid and clear out of here.
Wait a minute. I'm Annie Oakley. I'm sorry I took those shots at you. Well, it wasn't a very nice way to welcome you home.
That's about all I could expect from Luke McTavish's niece.
Then you remember me.
I remember that it was your uncle that arrested me.
You know, If you'd get that overgrown chip off your shoulder, you'd sure get along a lot better.
I didn't come back to get along.
Then why did you come back?
I came back to settle a few old scores.
Look, I don't blame you for being
Don't
bitter.
blame me. 9 years in prison for something I didn't do, and you don't blame me for getting sore? My mother left to die in that miserable shack, and you think I got a chip on my shoulder?
I'm terribly sorry about your mom, but it wasn't anyone's fault.
I say it was, and I'm going to get even with this town for what they did to Mom and me. And I don't need any advice, help, or company.
Well, you can't fight the whole town single-handed.
Oh, you're wrong, sister. Dead wrong.
Oh, for Pete's sakes, be reasonable. I can't arrest a man until he's committed a crime. So far, all Dobie's done is come back to his own house and mind his own business.
He's been threatening us, hasn't he?
He hasn't made a definite threat against any of you.
Every time I see him, he mentions that I was foreman of the juror that sent him away.
Well, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, but when he says it, it's a threat.
Sheriff Mike was here. He'd do something.
Uncle Luke wouldn't do any more than Lofty's done.
Well, that isn't enough. We don't need a deputy sheriff to take care of Lawson. We'll do it ourselves. Come on.
Hold it, Bronk. I don't like talk like that.
Well, that's too bad.
Wait a minute. There'll be no rail ridings or lynchings while I'm in office. You understand that, Bronk?
Who said anything about a lynching?
Well, that's more like it. Now, suppose you leave Dobie to me. I don't think he'll start anything.
You'd better not.
I handled that situation pretty well, don't you think?
You did all right.
All right. Is that all you can say? I thought it took some doing.
If I said any more, your head'd swell up and bust.
Oh, Annie.
Well, how'd it go? They won't go for a lynching. You'll have to think of something else.
I knew you'd botch the lynching.
Quit riding me, Eli. What are you going to do?
Well, there's a shipment of money coming in on one of my stages the first thing in the morning. We're going to arrange a holdup.
You're crazy. We can't risk another frame.
Worked pretty well the first time, didn't it?
Adobe was young then. He's a lot smarter now.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of funny at that. First time we framed him gave me enough money to buy the stage line. This second frame-up's going to keep the line going.
What do you mean?
The Gorham line is about broke. We need that money that Larson's going to steal for us.
Still think it's too risky.
Oh, shut up and listen. Here's a coat, just like the one that Dobie wears. All you have to do is to put it on.
Don't shoot.
Throw down that strong box.
Yes, sir.
All right, get going and don't bother to look back.
Yes, sir. Yeah, get up.
Hold up, Mr. Storm. The money's shipping from the bank. When did it happen? About a half hour ago, near Coyote Pass. The farmer was masked, but I recognized him. It was Dobie Larson.
Are you sure?
Sure, I recognize his voice. You know how he talks.
It's a mighty serious charge. Are you positive?
Well, it wasn't just his voice, Miss Annie. It was his build, his clothes, everything about him. It was Larson, all right. There's no doubt about it.
Eli, round up some of the boys and ride out to the canyon and try to pick up his trail.
Where are you going?
I'll take his cabin and join you later.
Oh, wait a minute, Lofty. I'm going with you.
I don't suppose it would do any good to say that you can't come with me. That it's too dangerous? That you just be in my way?
None at all.
You know you can't get along without me.
How'd you like to try just once?
Is that his horse?
Yeah, he bought it from Hank Lewis.
What are you doing here? Thought I told you I didn't want any company.
This is official business.
Step straight back into the house, and don't try any tricks. All right, now drop your gun belt.
You mind telling me what this is all about?
Somebody held up the stage from Wickford about an hour ago.
What's that got to do with me?
Well, Charlie Baker, the driver, identified you as the bandit.
It's crazy. I've been here all morning.
Can you prove that?
Nobody else has been here but me.
Well, it's just your word against Charlie's, then.
And my word isn't any good around here, is that it?
Nobody said that.
No, but that's what you're thinking. Am I under arrest?
Well, for the time being, let's just say you're being held for questioning.
Well, I guess I better get dressed, huh?
Where you going?
My shirt is on a line out in front.
Stay here. We'll get it for you. You mind, Annie?
As long as you don't ask me to iron it for him.
You're not taking many chances, are you?
After 9 years in prison, you must know every trick in the book.
Well, if I'm so smart, how come I couldn't pull a simple little holdup without being recognized?
I don't know.
Well, think it over. And while you're thinking...
I shouldn't have left you guys alone.
Hey, you kind of caught me off guard.
I kind of figured that.
All right. Don't rub it in.
I don't have to. You know you can't get along without me. Come on, let's get this guy back to town.
I've said all I'm going to say, and I've said it 20 times before. Now leave me alone.
Things will go easier if you tell me where you hid the money. All right. Do it the hard way.
Any luck?
It's like talking to a deaf mule.
Lofty, I've been thinking. Suppose this is a frame?
That's been bothering you, too, huh?
Yes. Anyone that would pull a holdup without changing their clothes or disguising their voice is too dumb to live. And Dobie isn't dumb.
Yeah, that's why I've got to find that stolen money. Look after things here, will you?
Sure. Oh, Lofty, if you see Tagg, will you tell him no pie tonight unless he brings me some berries?
I'll tell him.
Thanks.
I'll meet you out at the house.
Who's out there? Toby, I believe you're innocent, but the town will never think so. About your only chance is to make a break for it. You'll find a wagon waiting back at the jail. A friend.
What's happened to service in this joint?
What do you want?
How about some water?
I guess that can be arranged.
Don't make a sound. Now lock this door.
Where'd you get that gun?
Never mind that.
You know, if you shoot that thing, that everybody in town will hear it?
I'll take that chance. I mean it, Annie. Unlock this door.
And I was just beginning to think you didn't rob that stage.
I didn't. Now get over and get those keys.
You're so innocent, then why are you pulling such a stunt as this?
You people sent me to prison once before for something I didn't do. But you're not going to get that chance again. Now get in there.
It won't work, Joby. Believe me, it won't.
Turn around. Put your hands behind you. Hold it, Dobie.
Get those hands up.
What kind of double cross is this?
Shut up and drop the gun. That's better. Now, if you do as you're told.
Thanks, kid. We stopped a jailbreak, didn't we, Mr. Brock?
Yeah, I guess you could call it that.
How'd he escape?
I don't know. Help me get him in the wagon.
Why don't you just carry him back to jail?
Because he's not going back to jail.
Huh?
I'm taking him someplace else. And seeing you know so much, you're going along with him.
Yeah, but Mr. Brock,
And if you know what's good for you, you'll keep your mouth shut. Now help me get him in the wagon.
Annie! You sure got yourself into a mess this time. How did it happen?
He found the gun and forced me to open the cell door.
How long ago?
About an hour. He went out the back door.
Hey, what is this? Dobie must have got into a fight. Somebody must have tried to stop him.
Lofty, this is Tagg's bucket, don't you see? He was bringing these berries home for supper. That means he was here during the fight. He must have run into Dobie, and Dobie forced him to go with him. Lofty, what are we gonna do?
We'll go after him. I'll deputize every man in town. We'll turn this territory inside out. But don't worry, Annie. We'll fight.
Today's holdup was just a beginning, Dobie. Now that you broke out of jail, you're going to become a regular Billy the Kid. Hold up stages, rob banks.
Pin one hold up on me, pin a dozen of them. I don't care. What about the kid?
Well, now that he's mixed up in this, he's going to have to stay with us. I've got a nice soundproof room behind that bookcase for the two of you. Show it to him, Bronk. The Spanish gent that built this house had some funny ideas about a lot of things.
I didn't mean it that way. All I want to know is what happens to Tagg when you're through with me.
Oh, we'll figure something out. In the meantime, he's going to be useful to us.
How do you mean that?
Well, I want you to write a letter to Lofty Craig and tell him to call his posse in. For Tagg here will get hurt.
In other words, you want it to look like I was the one that snatched him, huh?
That's right.
Don't do it, Dobie. A letter like that'd scare Annie half to death.
Don't worry, kid. If you want a letter like that, you're going to have to write it yourself.
Dobie, my spelling's not very good. So let me put it this way. If you don't write the letter, Tagg here will get hurt for sure.
You do?
Here. Write down what I tell you.
Can't be as bad as that, Annie. Doesn't make sense for Dobie to hurt the kid.
Well, he's gotten far enough away by now. Why hasn't he let him go?
Maybe he has.
Well, then why haven't we found him? You've got 20 men out looking for him, haven't you?
It's dark now, Annie. Maybe Dobie's got him tied up someplace, or maybe...
Lofty.
What's that?
It's from Dobie.
Tagg is alive and all right. But if you want to see him again, call in your posse.
Well, that no good varmint. What'd I tell you?
It's almost a relief. I mean, knowing so much better than uncertainty.
That skunk's hiding somewhere close. I guess all we can do is call in the boys. I'll get started in that.
Thanks, Lofty.
I'm fixing coffee, Annie.
Wait a minute. It's funny. Dobie misspelled his own name. There's no U in Larson.
What are you doing, Annie?
I'm going to compare it with a form he filled out yesterday. It's his writing, all right. Why would he deliberately misspell his own name unless he... Wait, look, Charlie, he's misspelled other words, too. He left the E off of alive, one of the L's out of all right, and the I out of again. E-L-I. Eli. Eli Gorham, that's what he's trying to say.
Well, what's Gorham got to do with
Well, I don't know, but I sure aim to find out. Locate Lofty and tell him I've gone to see Gorham. Where's Gorham?
In the living room, I guess, but what...
Turn around. All right, move.
What's going on here? Well, Annie, have you gone loco?
Maybe I have. Get over there.
Well, what's the gun for?
I'm aiming it. Right at you two.
Yes, I can see that.
Then maybe you can tell me where Tagg is.
Tagg? Well, I don't know where he is. Have you seen him, Bronk?
Why, no. Not since a couple of days ago.
Annie, you must be under some sort of strain. Why don't you...
Where's Tagg?
He's not here. What makes you think he is?
Because of the letter that Dobie sent. The one with your name on it.
You're crazy. My name wasn't on that.
So you know about the letter.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, it's a funny thing. I've never killed anybody in my life. But I've always wondered just how close I could come.
Annie, you're out of your head.
Maybe I am. But you better start praying I'm still a good shot. I ought to be able to come closer than that. It's lucky you didn't move. That one could have been real messy.
Annie, stop it. Stop it.
You're going to tell me where my brother is.
All right, show her.
Annie!
Oh, Ted.
Don't anyone of you move now. Drop your gun, Annie, or the kid will get it first.
It's no use, Eli. I left word I was coming here.
Well, whoever's coming is going to be too late. Now get over here. Come on, Bronk, let's get out of here.
Got here in time.
Well, I'll say, did you shoot them both, Lofty?
Thanks, Lofty. I guess he kind of caught me off my guard.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
Well, you don't have to rub it in.
Why should I? You know you can't get along without me. You stay here, Charlie. I'll send you out some help. Come on, Tagg. Let's us men go back to town.
You know, for once, I think I'll let him get in the last word.